to shows that have been good and had good booking, but the work still all looks exactly the same. If you did the match of if you took the like looked at each match and fast forward it like 5 times speed, right? It would look like the guys come to the ring, they go brrr, and next thing you know, they're outside the ring, they're boom, boom, and they're jumping out of the ring like Pac-Man, boom, boom. That's what all the matches would look like. It looks like everything they do is a setup to do a big jump out of the ring, which is what happens nearly in almost every match, and most matches multiple times. The match when back in the day that used to happen like one time a show. It was a big deal. It's a big deal. Guys diving outside the ring and risking the high risk. That's the thing is like they're high risk maneuvers, right? But the wrestlers have made them by definition not high risk maneuvers. Because how often do they miss the moves when they go to do a dive outside a guy on the floor? How often do they miss? So the whole concept of it looking like a high risk maneuver, if everybody's doing it and successfully complete, it's not a high risk maneuver anymore. And this is like common sense, like logic that I'm talking right now. But like people think about that and it's like, wow, you're right. It isn't high risk anymore. Where's the risk? Nobody they do it like 99.5% of the time, and they hit the move. So how is that high risk? They've taken all the elements that are involved in like storytelling, compelling risk. What's going to happen? They've taken a lot of that out because nobody really pins anybody with moves anymore and everything. It's just like we're going through like 15 minutes of spots until it ends. And that's the way matches look these days,
It's funny you mentioned that because I watched an event recently. It was the In Your House where Shawn Michaels wrestled Mankind, and that was like a 2.5 hour long event, and there was one super kick thrown on the entire card.
Yeah, Shawn Michaels.
Nobody get kicked in the head at all.
The finish.
Yeah, but then if you watch it these days, like I don't know if you see NXT. Somebody took like a belly to back onto the edge of a table. Then sold it instantly.
Bro, you don't even have to tell me. The guys these days do not know how to sell.
Yeah.
They do not know. Like seriously, I know how to sell very well. Okay, and when I teach people how to sell better. If I walked in to any locker room today, right? There's like a 75% of the guys that say, "Hey, you need to start working on your selling, and this is what you need to do." There's just a huge problem in guys just that wrestlers all they care about are the moves. Everybody lays out a match to get their shit in. They come up with creative spots. They have a certain amount of time they have to do it in, and because they figured out so much stuff that they have to do, they haven't calculated enough time to sell anything. So nothing looks like it hurts. Nothing looks like this. It's so it's just it doesn't. None of the things really mean nothing anymore.
But do you think that's the fault of the wrestler being dumb, or because of the mark only reacting to high spots?
No, it's the wrestler being dumb. It's the wrestler being first of all, the wrestlers being dumb, and they've basically cultivated this crowd of. This crowd's not wrestling fans. Like wrestling fans, that I worked in front of, they like to cheer the baby faces and boo the heels. And they like to cheer for the good guy to beat the bad guy, mostly, and they would pop when the good guy would win, and they would boo when the bad guy would win. Where do you see that anymore? And that's just basic simplistic wrestling. It's like, show me a match where you've seen that, where the bad guy is doing things to get the crowd mad at him, and the good guy is like fighting back. Just show that to me. What does it happen once every 3 weeks on a match on a show?
Yeah, whenever Lesnar turns up.
Yeah.
I got a question that this might seem a little rude, so if it does come across as rude, no offense. But with WCW ended, this WWE started hiring a lot of WCW names. You weren't one of those names, yet they hired people like fucking what's his name, Hugh Morris.
They called me, and I never called them back because I want to take. I was burnt out. I had money. I was, and then plus two, I was getting. I decided to get paid for 3 months to stay home and get paid. I was going to take my money.
But when that was over, did you ever feel? How did it feel to not?
No, because at the time back then, it wasn't a really pretty picture up there. The locker room was not a pleasant place from what I'd heard, from what I was hearing. There's a lot of tension in the locker room. The WCW guys weren't getting along with the WWE guys and stuff. And plus, I had this other promoter that was paying me money to go overseas. So
Was that WWE?
Mm-hmm.
Did you ever wrestle in Ireland?
Yeah.
Well,
what's it called? The O2 Arena there?
I think so. Well,
Yeah.
you're not coming back, and I'll make sure of it.
I'm not looking forward to.
Yeah, well, I challenge you. There you go. The match is on. See, we just worked all these. But one of the things I've got to say is that you may not. I know you've trashed the whole idea of the Hall of Fame and stuff, but despite what you think, you actually are a very popular wrestler, and a lot of fans would love to see you celebrated down the line. And despite how you may think, like the real ones go, no, that guy could wrestle, and he was a great heel despite having stage 4 AIDS.
You want me to respond to that?
No, your big smile was enough.
But I'm not a fan of I don't care about Hall of Fames. I don't care about sports Hall of Fames. There's no set rules. There's no like guidelines, and like it's you basically pump up like since when are baseball writers like the smartest people in the room to decide on that stuff?
Yeah.
I mean, I could write about baseball if I wrote something down and posted and people read it. You know what I'm saying? It's like the baseball writers of America, like these people that that write about baseball and watch baseball and they talk to the players and stuff. Everything that's great, but it's like, that doesn't mean your opinion of baseball is superior to others that watch it just like you do.
My current favorite, and the only reason why I will tune into stuff now, is Brock Lesnar. I could take him in a shoot, but that's not really what I want to talk about. But with the kind of money he's on, and at his age, and with the fact that there's really not that many like huge matches left, how much longer do you think that Brock Lesnar could keep going?
As long as he's getting for whatever his price is met and dates are met, he's in it for the business. I mean, he could. How long could he do this schedule? He could do this schedule for 5 more years. He looks fine. He just fought like 2 years ago, like shoot fight. So he's in shape. He can stay in shape. So that's not hard to do,
Unless he starts getting health problems, like excuse me, I was drinking this morning, but with like if you look at Scott Steiner, like was that a heart attack he had, or was that just passed out?
No idea.
Yeah, because after a while,
I don't know any details of that.
Yeah, because like after a while with these guys, whether you're fat as fuck or whether you're in shape, it's not healthy to be big as you get older, and it may catch up with Lesnar.
Do what now?
It may catch up with him, like because he seems to go purple in the face.
Who, Steiner?
Lesnar.
Oh, Brock. I don't really notice that. I don't watch a lot of wrestling.
But I've got to ask you this one thing about the women's wrestling. Now, I was a big fan of it for a long time, but the simple fact is, when you watch it, it's just not good enough. And they seem to be working this style of, let's do everything really fast to make it look aggressive, but they keep botching every fucking thing. But the question I've got for you, from looking at a bigger picture thing, do you think that the women's wrestling, especially someone like Becky Lynch, is overpraised, yet at the same time overly criticized?
I guess, yeah. I don't know. That's very ambiguous. What do you mean by that?
Meaning, like, if like there was a thing a couple of years ago where Brie Bella accidentally kicked some woman in the face in a match and knocked her out, and the whole internet was like, "Fucking fire her! Get her out of the company! Never again! Never do it again!" When thousands of men have not have knocked out thousands of other men in matches, but when a woman botches, the internet's like, right, worst ever, out to go. But when a man does it to go, fuck, that's a shame. But at the same time, I feel that a lot of women have like a 2 or 3 out of 5 match, and then people go, I thought that was the personal highlight for me. I thought that Alexa Bliss showed a lot of promise, and she's a Hall of Famer for sure. So that's what I'm saying.
What, you talking about the fans? Bro, I've been talking about how weird these fans are for years. I mean, you're sitting there you're asking me questions, and you know that you're asking me rhetorical questions.
No, it's they're genuine questions.
They're rhetorical questions. You know the answers already because you know how I feel about these subjects.
But do you think that the women get unfairly criticized?
No. Well, what's unfairly criticized because of your gender?
Yeah,
what do you mean by unfair? What's unfair criticism?